cemetery at one time. And then they removed the cemetery, they built the hospital. So around 1880, 1890, this was a cemetery.
And then in 1949, they performed the exorcism
Here.
which prompted them to make The Exorcist. She's talking to somebody over there. That's what she's doing, if you're wondering. Yeah.
I deal with psychics all the time.
Do you? Yeah.
Okay, there used to be this, like, I don't really want to call her like a nun, but there was a woman that worked here like years and years ago. She's like talking to me. But she said that she actually died down here. She worked here forever, and she died. Like, they came in her room and she was like dead. Here, like, she says that this is some kind of like a like an office type area, but her room used to be like over here. As she died, they went down there one day to get her because she didn't come up for like breakfast and she was dead. And there's a priest. He became like demonic, and she said that she took care of him, and she would go in there and he'd be in his room with the door locked, and he'd have like newspaper or something shit on the window, and he'd have like Bible verses taped to the walls, and he'd have like all these crosses. And she took care of him, and after she died, he went crazy, and not too long after that, I guess he died not too long after she died, but together they kind of guard around here. The ground is real soft, and it keeps moisture because it refuses to dry. And that has a lot to do with, like, okay, let me say it like this, okay? Can I just explain it like this? When negative spirits need energy, they take it from live things in order to thrive. If something was in a building and you tear it down, whatever was in that building is now in the ground and it belongs to it. It's going to suck up everything live in the ground. You can put this concrete here, but because it sucks up everything live, the ground will never dry, it will never thrive, it will never do anything but be wet, soggy, and useless mud. So no matter what you do, this is going to continue to fuck. Because what's under it is just mud, useless. It'll never dry, it'll never do anything. And it's not because it's a gate of hell or anything like that. It's because what lives in this area will never allow anything right here where it is, because it needs it to survive, kind of. Okay, so this nun or whatever that's like here with like the crazy priest guy, she stays over here and she watches it all the time. Like, she watches it. Like this area, she watches it. She like waits for it to like come open, I guess. But the crack isn't because nothing's trying to come up. It's because everything underneath is being absorbed, and it has no way to settle. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, there's nothing live. It'll take everything. There's definitely something here, but it came from what used to be here. Whatever, it's gone now. Whatever was here is gone, but it's here because you can't get rid of something by tearing something down. It's just going to go in the ground. It's just going to, and now it belongs to the ground. She tells me that the priest absorbed whatever was going on here, and it wasn't until he died that everything else started to happen. But she said that something disappeared. There was something here that like is now gone.
Right. And
whatever it was went into the ground. And nothing can survive here, grow here, or be here because it will forever need an entrance and like a portal. So
reason why
it keeps cracking. And it'll never let you seal it because it's been tried to be sealed before. You can't close doors and seal something.
Right.
You're not gonna seal nothing by shutting the damn door
and locking it.
And locking it. Yeah,
right.
It's still there. That might be its room, and it might be there a lot of the time and claim it, but it ain't go anywhere.
Right.
So basically, whatever was here is gone. And when it did, it went into the ground. And so the priest and the nun lady stay here. What was here? Something's gone.
A cemetery was here.
What else was here?
There was a cemetery and a small chapel that were located on this ground.
Chapel. That's the church.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, because I was about to say there's something here. That's why I have to look at church, because there was something here like a church. There was a man went crazy. A priest went crazy from something that happened.
A better way to seal something up than put a church on top of it.
See, and I agree with you, because she's standing right there and she swears that's her room, but that's not the place. She keeps telling me the place she had's gone.
Yeah.
So that what you're saying makes sense to me. But she took care of the guy. I don't think anybody knew that. He's the only one she would let in without attacking or going crazy, and she would bring him food. She's the only one. And she took care of him until she died. And then he died not too long after her, because nobody brought him nothing. That was it. She was the only one. So he probably, I don't know if he died of starvation or if he died because he just went nuts. I don't know. But after she died, not too long, he died. But she tells me this is her room, but she says it's not this. But it was my church, but it was in the basement. And I'm going, well, if it's not this, then where was it? And what you're saying makes sense. Whatever was here is gone, and now there's something else. So yeah, but they're still here. You can't tear something down and think something's gonna go away. She won't come off the grass, and the priest stays over there in the corner, and she's over here, and she's saying, don't get off of that, get off. And so whatever's here is definitely here.
Like under the concrete.
It's
Or
in this
just-
area. It's definitely here. Like in this area. That what's here feeds off sick people. Having a hospital right there is the stupidest ass thing they could have ever done in the world. Because if you have a negative energy and you've got people that are sick, you're feeding it day and night, day and night, day and night. You're feeding it.
So they're not getting better.
Yeah.
Are they not getting better?
They're probably not getting better. It just feeds off of it. I'm looking underneath, and the whole thing is wet. And I'm talking about a good 2.5 feet down is just wet mud. And it never dried. That's why this will never set. But again, when you have something negative, it'll never allow anything to keep it in. So there's definitely something here, but having what's feeding it and keeping this a bad spot is because you got sick people. If that wasn't a hospital, this wouldn't be so bad, because it'd have no energy.
Yeah.
You don't do that. I mean, why would you do that? You just don't do it. It's like having a cemetery and throwing a mall on top. Well, you just fed every spirit in there.
Right.
Because now they've got so much energy, they just run wild and act crazy. So the most haunted places are not going to be your cemeteries, abandoned houses, abandoned hospitals. It's going to be where there's activity. It's going to be your churches. It's going to be your movie theaters. It's going to be your malls, your hospitals. It's going to be where they can feed all day.
But once they get permission to do the exorcism, it goes 24/7 until it's gone. And so they have priests that come in shifts. It just wasn't Fowler Howler in there for 8 hours and it was over with. This exorcism went on for weeks. And so they would have priests come in shifts. And he was one of the priests that came in, and he spoke to it. He actually, from what I understand, he held a conversation with it. And it got in his mind.
I know, the nun said where he messed up is that instead of a metal cross, he used wood. And wood is live and can transfer energy, and that's how it happened.
After they tore down the old St. Alexis, from what I understand, they moved him here. Also, I think, and I can't be 100% sure, this is where all the furniture and stuff that happened in the room that the exorcism happened, they boxed and crated away and they put it in here.
Oh, wow. I'm just freaked out about all the kids in the window. I don't know what's happening. Just so many kids in the windows. It was something like an orphanage, maybe a children's home, or something with kids, a crazy hospital for children. I mean, I don't know, but there's a lot of them over here. This place being abandoned is probably the most active place I have ever seen in my life.
Really?
For being abandoned and having no energy, they're everywhere. There's a woman in this window. There's an old man in that window. There's like all kind of stuff going on over here. And then there's kids. Like I don't know what's happening. I mean, you've got adults here, you've got children here, and none of them seem to be connected. But it's nothing scary. It's nothing negative. They just all hang out here. The kids probably get energy from the daycare. The adults are here because the kids are here. And none of them leave. They just, hey, this is our house. Look at us. You know, sometimes kids are young and they don't know they're playing with spirit children. They think they're just regular children. That's weird. Before we even got around, there's like a teacher lady at the front. There is a woman standing here and she looks like a teacher. And that might explain all the children. This hospital, but I'm telling you, this was used as something else. It was like a school or something. Because there's like a teacher and there's like a bell. The bell's not there, but it had a bell. There's definitely a lady that looks like a teacher with her hair in a bun, and she's ringing a bell. And there's kids playing in the yard. I know it says hospital, but there's too many kids playing in the yard. There's too many kids in the windows. And now I got this teacher lady standing there with her hair in a bun, ringing a bell. And I'm like, this is like a school. This doesn't even, but it says hospital. I don't know if something happened, they had to use it at one point for something else.
Hospitals, like the old Marine Hospital on Marine Avenue, a couple blocks that way, it was turned into an orphanage.
Orphanage sounds more like it, yeah.
The Midwest was a lot of what they call orphan trains came into the Midwest, and so during the Great Depression, so people offloaded their kids. They couldn't afford to feed them anymore. They dumped them off at orphanages out on the East Coast, or they dumped them off at orphanages here. And from the East Coast, trains full of orphanages would come down into the Midwest, and farmers would actually literally adopt the kids for farmhands.
I'm telling you, then this was an orphanage or something, because there's a lady with her hair in a bun and she's in charge of all these children. The children are now playing in the yard. There's like probably a good 23 children in this yard. And then there was some in the windows. And if this wasn't a school and she's in charge of all those children, it could have been nothing but like maybe an orphanage. Like I said over there when I said orphanage, it has to be. There's too many kids and she's in charge of them. But it's crazy because they can play with the kids over there. That's where they can get their energy. They can watch those kids play and have fun. And it's so weird that there's so many spirit kids here and then somebody would place that right there. Isn't that weird? It's almost as if they were like, look, this is the perfect place for a daycare. Not even realizing how many kids were over here.